to Breakfast with Tiffany with your host, Tiffany Morgan.
That's right, sweet peas, it's me. It's me. Bum. Bum. Well, hello there, my little sweet peas, my little love muffins from all around the big blue world. This is your hostess, Miss Tiffany Morgan, calling to you live from Kingston, Ontario, Canada, the home of limestone and the home to me, Miss Tiffany Morgan. That's right, sweet peas. Oh, let's get that chat in there. Let's get that chat. All right. So you're listening to me on the radio waves. Who am I? I am Miss Tiffany Morgan, drag queen extraordinaire, fabulous person in general, and I'm a drag queen from Kingston, Ontario, Canada. I've been doing drag in this community for just over 20 years. Just over 20 years. Oh my God, has it been that long? Oh, it's so painful. And you know, I'm here on CFRC 101.9 FM, also on CFRC.ca, and you can find more information out about me on Tyffanie.com. That's TYFFANIE.com. There we go. There we go. I've just revamped the website. I took some time and tinkered with the website. I've owned that domain, Tyffanie.com, for 13 years apparently. as the as the company called me, they do, you get those cold calls. They're like, "Oh, do you like your service? Would you recommend our service?" And the person on the phone was like, "I want to say thank you for being a customer." 13 years. You've been on with us for 13 years. And I had to laugh. I was like, they were surprised that, someone had been with them that long. I don't know if that's a good thing then. Like, do you think that, if someone who's cold calling you being like, "Oh, do you like our service? Thank you for being a loyal customer." And when they discover it's 13 years, they're like, if they're surprised, should you be concerned? I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking the question. I'm asking the question. Should you be concerned? But no, I've had good services with them. But yeah, Tyffanie.com. I've had Tyffanie.com, TYFFANIE.com for 13 years, and I just revamped the website to be, a bit more about who I am, sort of thing, more like a portfolio sort of thing. It's important in this day and age that you kind of promote yourself. You need to, some people call it, knowing your brand and promoting your brand. And I cringe sometimes when they talk about that, because I'm like, people are not brands. But it's the idea around it where, you know, um, you kind of need to be um, putting out into the world who you are and what you do and stuff like that, especially if you're looking at, getting hired to do some drag show gigs. Not that those are happening very often, but we do have one coming up on May 29th with Boa from Canada's Drag Race. You may have watched that program and you may have saw Boa with her potatoes. And she's coming to Kingston on May 29th. So you can buy tickets on Eventbrite through House of Torres Productions. I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping ahead. What can I say? I do have a script here. I do have a script of things to talk about. Uh, I thought I did. Where is it? Oh, well. Apparently, I did not send it to myself. Well, that is just not right, is it? I'm a professional. I'm a professional. Okay, I'm just going to go off the top of my head, but it was bad. So this week is two important weeks. Two important weeks. And the first part I'm going to talk about is Emergency Preparedness Week. I know. So fascinating, isn't it? So fascinating. But I take this to heart. I take this to heart. So Emergency Preparedness Week is kind of a reminder on how to prepare for emergencies. And it's a little bit more, like, you're like, well, come on now. We're in a lockdown where, during COVID times, you really need to think about emergency preparedness. And the answer is yes. More so, more so when you're in lockdown and in a pandemic situation. What is Emergency Preparedness Week? Well, it's a time where, actually, let me just see if there's a better description. Um, and this is provincially designated Emergency Preparedness Week. Is a great time to take actions to be prepared for the unexpected, i.e., that's called emergencies. So there's you could we can find different emergencies that could happen. Even in a pandemic, there could be emergencies like the power outage, or there could be fires or floods, um, those sort of kind of emergencies, power outages or something like that, or if the gas goes off or something like that. What are you going to do in those emergencies or the power outages? I think I missed the ice storm. I had just moved to Kingston like a year or a year and a half after the ice storm, and uh, I heard those stories. I heard those stories of friends, people who I meet and made friends with. They were talking about, one friend of mine, they worked at the Burger King. They worked at the local Burger King here in downtown Kingston, and it was the only place in downtown or something like that that had electricity and was running and had hot food. And they worked there, and they were giving, they were doing food for people and stuff like that. It was just like, oh, okay, well, you know, um, but then you hear from other people, and they're like, they moved in temporarily with other friends who had fireplaces that you could still burn wood in just to keep warm. In downtown Kingston and stuff like that. So emergency preparedness week it's a time to just focus on that. And the one of the main things is to focus on your emergency kind of kit, getting your kit ready. And the city of Kingston drafted up a get ready emergency preparedness guide. So if you go to the City of Kingston website, now I get these emails from the City of Kingston. I subscribe to get emails from them. They send me news releases and stuff like that. I would highly suggest you take a look at that. If you're a Kingston resident, go to the City of Kingston website, cityofkingston.ca. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see like their socials, like Twitter, Facebook, but you also see a little mail icon. And if you click on that mail, and when I say mail, MAIL, uh, click on that, and you can sign up to get email newsletters and stuff like that. So I have my own little emergency kit. It has what does it have in there? It has batteries in there. I'm, I'm going to have to take a look at it this week just to double check it. It has batteries. It has a lighter in it. Some people would do matches, but I was like, well, I'm just going to throw this lighter in here. Uh, it has candles, a lot of candles in there. It also has some camping kit stuff. Oh yes, yeah, it has camping kit. So it has a little cooking kind of stove and gas sort of thing, uh, which is handy if, let's say, you're out of electricity for a couple of days or something like that. And that's the important thing about emergency preparedness is being prepared for multiple days if you're out of electricity, let's just say, or something like that. So um, now the flashlights, yeah. So I don't I do I have any flashlights in there? I don't know. I don't know. Um, yeah, I need to get a proper first aid kit. I do have so that is one of the things they're bad as well. So a first aid kit. I do have like a box of first aid stuff that's near the kit there as well. And I have yet to get a proper radio. I had bought a crank radio, but it doesn't work anymore. Gosh, it's like, oh goodness sakes. And a Mylar blanket. It was really interesting reading that on the in the guide here a mylar blanket which stays dry because it's plastic. It's like a plastic. So if you're soaking wet or something like that, because it's a hurricane a coming, a hurricane a coming. Uh, you can at least stay warm and stuff like that too. So I'm gonna have to look into that. It was interesting. So that's in my like regular kit, and I think they also I think there's some suggestions elsewhere to get some some canned food, for instance, non-perishable food, canned food, because if you can just open the can and eat it, that's really good because you know being able to cook food, you have to have those utensils to be able to cook. And if you have no power or gas or whatever like that, then how are you cooking? Um, yeah, and then it was really interesting. There was and I haven't heard this one before, and it was to create a what is it? Your go bag, a go bag. So I was creating this little kit that for me at home, sort of thing. But they also were suggesting to create a go bag that if in the case of an emergency and you had to be evacuated, grab this bag. And I really like that idea, and I'm going to look into that. I have a few backpacks that just laying around the house. It's just laying around the house, unused, because I don't use that backpacks that often anymore. But yeah, fill it up with something, for that going away, especially a clean pair of something or other, clean pair of socks, clean pair of socks. There we go. You never know. You never know. But this is Emergency Preparedness Week. And it's a little bit, yes, it's a little bit of a dry topic, Sweet Peas. I know it's a little bit of a dry topic, but it's always important to think about it. All right. So you're listening to Tyffanie Morgan here on CFRC 101.9 FM, also on CFRC.ca. And check out my website, Tyffanie.com, Tyffanie.com. I'm going to change topics because this is also Mental Health Week. This is also Mental Health Week. Let me just bring up the website. So it's, if I remember correctly, it is, nope, that's not it. Doop-a-doop-doo. What is it? Anyway, let's keep talking. Oh, that's what okay. So it's mentalhealthweek.ca. That's the website. I almost forgot it. Mentalhealthweek.ca. And this is Mental Health Week. And the slogans, the kind of, and this is brought to you by the Canadian Mental Health Association. So their campaign is Name It, Don't Numb It. Name it, don't numb it. So if you're feeling sad, recognize that you feel sad. Don't numb it. Don't try to numb it out. If you're afraid, don't numb it. Just acknowledging those feelings. As their website says, these are times of extreme anxiety and isolation, so feeling worried and lonely just makes sense. Good mental health doesn't mean feeling happy all the time. Just accept that. Just accept that, and don't try to numb it. Let's name, express, and deal with our emotions. Express, deal with our emotions, even the uncomfortable ones, because because heavy feelings lightened when you put them into words. Oh, okay, yeah. Just let's talk about it. don't don't be living. Don't be trying to, isolate. I think that's one of the great things about this program as well, because I'm able to kind of share with you some of my thoughts and feelings and stuff like that, and people have have reached out to me and they're like, oh my goodness sakes, yes, I felt the same way. Especially some of my I like to express my frustrations with lockdowns and stuff. I know that they are very required. We need them for public health safety. But I can also feel stressed about it. I can also feel frustrated with it. I can also feel upset with them. Like, uh, you're allowed to feel that way. I know, it's the important things. Public health is very important too. But just expressing yourself, that's okay. That's okay. Some Facebook groups maybe don't express. Talk to people. Talk to people. If there's people you can talk to people. Um, there's a few, there's a few Facebook groups out there where you probably shouldn't be sharing some of those thoughts because that'll just get the trolls going. But it's Mental Health Week, and I've been feeling a little bit gloomy. I'm going to share my feelings this week. Then I've been feeling a little gloomy. I don't know if it's because of the weather. The weather has been very in Kingston's been very cloudy. There hasn't been a whole lot of sun. There hasn't been a whole lot of warmth. I think that crazy weather we had a few weeks ago, where it was in the 20s. When I say the 20s, I mean degrees Celsius. Yeah, I think that set maybe some inappropriate expectations for myself that it's going to be a warm year. And since then, we've just been in the teens. Actually, it's been normal temperature for gardeners. So if you don't know me as well, Tiff's Garden, hashtag Tiff's Garden. I'm a gardener. I like talk about gardening, not necessarily houseplants, but I'm an outdoor gardener for sure. Hi, Jazz. And yeah, so I've been feeling it's been a bit gloomy. There's been a bit of a cloud over my head. I don't know if it's because, like I said, the weather cloudy, but I decided, there's one way to help get me out of that mood, and that was I took the afternoon off yesterday. I took the afternoon off. Talked to the boss and I got the vacation time. I took the afternoon off, and I was like, let's just take the afternoon off and do some important stuff that gardeners need to do. And I went out and I bought soil. I bought some garden soil and some potting soil for indoor plants, some potting soil. And during that process, I took a little meander of the greenhouses. Us gardeners, we love to check out other greenhouses in and around Kingston. So I thought, yeah, we'll do that on a Tuesday afternoon. It won't be busy, so you can do the social distancing and all that kind of stuff because garden centers are open. Garden centers are open. And you're able to pick up your garden soil out. These are all outside, obviously, outdoor garden centers. So I was able to buy some soil, and yeah, I may have bought a plant. We'll talk about that in a moment. But just being able to get out and take a look at some of the plants that the garden centers have out there. The one thing I took back was how much of a community gardening is. The gardening community. I went to this one greenhouse, and a patron walked in with their mobile phone with a photo on it, and they immediately walked up to um, one of the owners of the greenhouse, and we're like, oh, so and so said that you'd be able to tell me what kind of plant this is, and immediately they were like, oh yeah, that's a hellebore or whatever it was, um, and I just thought it was just adorable that people just are able to still connect, and then they went on and had a conversation about what are hellebores, how to take care of them, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it just kind of made me feel good. Kind of made me feel good that there's still those really lovely social interactions, and this is kind of like community, right? They're like, oh, go to the local garden center. Will know. The local garden center will know all about whatever plant that is, or they can find out information about it or something like that. So I was really happy to get out and do that. We didn't take that long out there, obviously, for obvious reasons. Um, but let's take a little look, because I'm talking about gardening and growing. Um, so let's take a look at some of the stuff here. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I forgot to change things. So for those who aren't listening are listening right now, I do have this program uh, filmed live on Facebook. So I do like to share some photos every now and again, and we can talk about those. But those photos that I was sharing were, oh, here we go, here we go. So I bought bamboo. I bought bamboo. Yes, what can I say? So, what I can say is, I there's some streets that I don't walk down in my neighborhood because you get into your routines and stuff like that. And one day I was walking down another street, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, what is?" I'm like, "That's bamboo growing on their front lawn." I'm like, because I have tried to grow bamboo in the past, and unfortunately, it failed. I failed. It died. I bought two types. The first one died in the first year. The second one lingered on for a few years, but then unfortunately died as well. And so I was like, oh, anyway, failure. And I was like, well, no, it'll never grow here. Well, the neighbor had it, and it was clearly an established plant, because it was about a meter tall and about 2 meters wide. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. And then the next, 2, 3 days later, I go to the garden center, and what do I find? This baby, this guy. And apparently, it's a variety that is uh, uh, what's the word? Where the technical word will come. It's hardy. There we go. That's the technical term. It's hardy to this area. I was quite surprised by that. I didn't realize there was any varieties that were that hardy. This is a Fargesia. Um, and the common name is the given name is Rufus. Rufus? Was it Rufus? Anyway, it's a Fargesia. So it's a clumping bamboo. It will not send out runners. And I know that they are slow to grow, slow to get really established. This plant could go up to 8 feet, and but I think it won't really get that high in our area here. And if it did, it'd probably take 8 years to get to 8 feet tall. So that's not happening, not happening. So we got some questions here. Uh, a friend years ago grew bamboo. It was 18 feet high by the end of the. Really? Where was that grown? I'm jealous. It is yeah. Oh, there we go. Rufa, that clumping bamboo, Rufa. It's Fargesia Dracocephala. Okay, there we go. Anyway, Jazz, we should talk more. We should talk more. Uh, oh, you're gonna share your gardenscapes there too. Yeah, that's right. Um, sorry, I'm just taking looks here. All right, so let's continue on here. Oh, and then here's my snow flakes, as they call them, I believe. And so that is a spring blooming bulb, and it has a little. It's almost like it. It reminds me of a snowdrop, but they are much taller and bigger, and they're commonly called snowflakes. And I can't remember the botanical name, leucoma something or other. Yeah, but I am really pleased to say that it made a baby. I had no idea. It's taken a few years, but it's made a baby. I have two of them. I have two of them now. And some more photos of the apple blossoms developing on my apple trees. So that cold spell didn't ruin them at all, and they are going to. I A lot of things are a little delayed right now. So if you notice, a lot of the spring bulbs are lasting longer. That's because of the cooler weather. So it's kind of a mixed bag. On one side, you're like, well, the shadier weather, it's depressing. I hate it. I hate it. You want some sun and warmth. But on the reverse side, this cooler, less cloudy weather means that the springtime blooms will last longer. So your tulips are lasting longer. My forsythia, for the little bit of forsythia that bloomed, it's lasting longer. So this is just kind of drawing on the seasons, which is really the drawing on the springtime season, which is nice. But I don't expect those blossoms to bloom for at least another week, maybe two, just because of this weather snap that we got going on here. Uh, Styrax. Okay, I don't know. I don't know is that the technical. Maybe I'm getting the names mixed up, Alan. So Alan's putting in some botanical name. Obasia. Okay, I'm gonna have to snow bells. Well, common names are different where you are. It was interesting because I was in this group and we were talking about periwinkle, Vinca minor. So that's why I always tend to try to find the botanical name because the botanical name is like pretty. That is a classification name. Common names. It's interesting that Vinca minor. I call it periwinkle here. They call it like myrtle down in the States, and they call it something else elsewhere, and other people call it like the devil's evil evil ground cover. But I love it. I love it because it I can with my garden. Anyway, we'll talk about periwinkle another day. But yeah, so things are looking pretty good. I'm running out of time here, very badly, very bad here. Um, so where am I going with this? Yes, grow with me, the Grow with Me challenge. So if you are growing vegetables indoors, go to Tyffanie.com, join our Facebook group. If you're, because we're trying to grow some veggies and stuff like that together, sharing our experiences. Again, Tyffanie.com, Tyffanie.com. So I have tomatoes and cucumbers and cucamelons. There's a few vegetables that we've started indoors already. And now would be the time to start thinking about if they need to be potted up. So if they're really big plants in a small pot, maybe you need to pot them up. But also, and which I'm going to be doing probably in the next week, but also start thinking about hardening them off. And when I say hardening them off, I mean getting them prepared to be outside. So putting them during the day in a cold frame, for instance, or putting them during the day in a sheltered area, sheltered from the wind, and also sheltered from direct sunlight too. Just start getting them prepared to be put outside into the garden or into the greenhouse, that sort of thing. So we need to start thinking about hardening those plants that we started indoors, like your tomatoes and start thinking about that in order for us to plant them out for like the May 2-4 weekend. But Sweepies, I gotta go. I've run out of time. So thank you for listening to Breakfast with Tyffanie with your host, Miss Tyffanie Morgan. That's me. And you've been listening to C4C 101.9 FM, C4C.ca. I give you my love. Mwah! You stay safe now.